Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Paul, and thanks for watching this video. You guys know what to do at this time. You guys are pros at this. When you see a video, make sure you like and subscribe to it. That helps out. So, this video that I'm doing was based on a post that I had done on LinkedIn just a few days ago. A lot of people were asking about it, but it was something I've done in Power BI, reproducing a visual, a graphic in one of Cole Nussbaumer uh, Knaflic's books, Storytelling with Data. Let's Practice. Always wanted to reproduce one of those visuals that she has in there. She has a great website. You can download the data, try it out for yourself. I have both of her books, and they're just really a good source to help you with visualizations of your data and just kind of perfect your steps and with explaining and telling a story with data and also your DAX skills. So this just be a quick walkthrough. There's nothing really fancy about it. There's no really um, wow factors for the report. Um, no design features, anything like that. It was just really just reproducing what she had done, and I'll post a link on the original post so you could take a look at it. Um, but like I said, I'd really enjoy her books and a lot of the chapters. And I think this one, I have the book here next to me. It's on page 204 of Storytelling with Data. Let's Practice. So that's the book. So um, anyway, we'll get into it. Also, what struck me with this visual was the line graph, and I had done a DAX workout for Enterprise DNA. Oh, quite a few months back, working with Brian Julius on these, and Tim. We had kind of tag team on that, and this was one that we had. I think Brian had posted a video on spaghetti graphs and how you have too many lines and they just overlap each other. And it's just very confusing to tell, what's going on. So kind of commingled both those concepts into this, and I hope you guys get some benefit out of it, maybe some ideas. Um, and you can take it with you to anything that you're working on, be it at work or someplace else, and hopefully it'll help you. If you have any comments, go ahead and put some comments um, down below. Any thoughts, suggestions, whether you felt it was helpful or not. I appreciate the feedback. But on my channel, you can see I have my email address there. You're more than welcome to shoot me an email as well. Um, so anyway, let's just get into it, and we'll take you there. Um, bring that up. So this was the DAX workout, number 18, like I had mentioned. Um, you you have what's called a bad graph there on the left, just a mess. I think this was life expectancy for a lot of countries over the past years, decades, I think. And then on the right, kind of cleaned it up where you can, the end user can select what country they want, and it will highlight that in the graph. So the trick with normally what I've seen, some people, there's a trick where one option is you can overlay two graphs where you have the graph with all the lines that are gray, and then overlay on top your graph that you want where it just has the selection highlighted. This is not the case with this one, and I'll also find the link to Brian's original video and post. Um, I think there was another gentleman, Carlos Barboza, I think, if I remember, I think that's his name. But anyway, I think he's the one that came up with this concept. Very, very good concept, very smart. It was brilliant. Um, how he came up with this, and it just helps. So, um, like I said, this was part of a DAX workout, and I'm going to be looking off to the right here because that's where my second monitor is. Um, so the data from the storytelling book is car dealerships through, I think the years are like 2017 through 2019, just by quarters. So I didn't go into any detail as far as having a date table or anything like that. The concept was just how you clean up your line graph and just make it visually more pleasing to the eye. Very make it easier to understand to the whoever you're presented to or whoever the end user is. And so you see this, and as you click, you know, all the lines go off, and then the axis changes on the Y. Um, you know, it just really, but you don't see the comparison for all the other dealers until, nothing is selected. So bad graph. So anyway, so I'll show you how you could take a bad graph like this, and we've all seen something like this, and make it into a good graph. So I am going to turn myself off, just so you don't have to stare at me the whole time. Um, but anyway, let's go over to the solution. So what you see here is, like I said, if I haven't said it before, you can download this data from her website, the storytelling with data. Let's Practice. She has two books, but go to the Let's Practice one, and you can download this. It's just an Excel spreadsheet. So um, what I did, of course, I'll walk you through the steps. You transform uh, right here, and all I did, show you the steps. You bring it in, you promote the headers. It came in like this, so you see all the dates, and then each dealer's name is at the top, and then it has uh, some of all the cars for that dealer pertaining to the year and the quarter. Um, so if you know of any data transformation, go and promote the headers. I renamed some columns, then unpivoted because you don't want your data, of course, long and short. The main goal is to unpivot and make them long and narrow. Just clean that up. Uh, you know, the steps there. I renamed the columns, the date, car dealer, number of cars, and then sorted the rows. And I just sorted from, and that was just me. I just chose to sort from descending order from the max to the least. Next, what I did is I went ahead and duplicated, actually referenced, because when you reference compared to duplication of a table, when you reference the original, that if anything happens to this data, once you exported it in, you add another car dealer, whatnot, some more data, um, the one that you duplicated or you referenced, I'm sorry, that you referenced will update as well. So why I did that is, you see Lakeside, Lakeside, three times Draper, Lakeside, Fillmore, you have duplicate dealer names. So create a table, You remove the other columns, and then what you do, of course, you remove duplicates. Pretty simple. That way, you just have a unique set of car dealerships. Um, close out of that, and I'll show you the model. So you have your fact table. It's got all your sum of cars, car dealer date, and then this is your table that you created, your reference table, and that's what you're going to use as your slicer because they just have the unique car dealer names, if that makes sense. You guys have done this before, I know. You guys are experts already. So I created a filter right here, and that is you select your car dealer. So that is the filter that you're using because again, you just have the unique car dealers, the names. So I did that first, and then just to show you this, it's one line graph. There's not there's not anything behind it. And the trick with this, and I'll explain all this as we go on, but first steps is this line graph. So when you bring it in and you see the data and you're seeing all the dealerships' names, you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's quite a bit. Well, there's a reason, and that's the mastery behind this that makes this work so well. Is when you go in, what I did, I created for every dealer, and this goes back to Carlos and Brian's post. Uh, you create this measure, you just use a calculate function, average number of cars, over time, and then your selected dealer, which is your visual right here, and again, select the dealer table equals beacon, and that's going to give you your label as well. So you're tying in the car dealer beacon uh, for when you have another measure that'll show you that when this is selected, it highlights the line. It actually overlays another line in orange, in this case, over top of the gray in one graph by doing separate measures like this. And you will just drop them into your y-axis. And then you see another measure way down here called selected car dealer. And that is the measure that is actually creating this orange line. And I will show you that here. So you see all the measures, and then you see the measure here. Let me get rid of that so you can see that. So here it is, the selected car dealer. And all it is a calculate the average number of cars, which, that measure is just average, and you have sum of cars that are in the data. So you just take the average of that. So that's what this measure is. And you bring in that measure, you filter, and in this case, the data table is called sheet one. I just left it. Like I said, this was just a very straightforward exercise. Sheet one card dealer. So you have the table, and then you're calling the column name card dealer equals, and I got from this concept from Brian Julius. He had this in one of his uh, videos where some people call it, I think, Boss with data training IO. He calls it a helper table. There's different names. I mean, you can name it whatever you want. But in this case, he just calls it the harvest car dealer. So that measure is calling on this one. And all this is doing is using the selected value of the card dealer. So really it's just saying, as I select this, it is that selected card dealer measure, we're going to highlight that line. So with the colors, so back up here, let me, I'm moving it. So that's it to this table. You got your date, and then you have all these measures. And that's really it in a nutshell. You could do this with total revenue, profit margins, anything finance, customer attrition, in HR, just trends over time. And if you really just want to have the end user help them out in selecting what line they're on or what information they want to see. So in this case, with this particular example, Cole did in her book, the regional average always highlighted. So you can have a comparison against the regional average, which is all the car dealerships over time, all grouped together as a region. That's their average. So you could tell some were below average, some, way above. And she had that highlighted in black. So if I go back to here, if, come on, all right, always, let me go up to format. So I'm looking for the icons that pop on the side. Sometimes they come up, sometimes they don't. Um, so anyway, we'll just go through the steps. I have a title. You have that at one. So you describe um, values, not a big deal. I just set the maximum at 150 because that was the most I think of the cars sold. So I just set it as that. I turned the grid lines off just to keep clarity. Um, the lines, I like the smooth feature. So for all, I just like that smooth. I'll just show you if you do linear, it's real jaggedy. So I always have the smooth one for lines there. So for the colors here, you come down to colors under lines. That's where we are. So I have regional average line always as black, and all the rest are just the gray color. I chose orange. I don't even, in her example, she didn't do this. Like I said in the beginning, I'm co-mingling a DAX workout that I had done in the past based on Brian Julius' video on spaghetti charts, spaghetti line charts, and brought it in. So I kind of modified what she had already in the book. um, so anyway, made that orange and series labels. Nothing special there. Turn those on because that's what you see on the side right here. So you know what you're looking at. Um, and that's it for this, for the line graph. Did a little fancy, just a tool tip for that, where you just got the year and then the car dealer first selection, and then the measure for average number of cars. So whatever dealer you want and you highlight, that's what you are seeing as you go across the line. You're not seeing any other gray or anything like that because you have this one selected. Um, and on this, while we're on that, I just have a vertical list, single select. I left that on. That way, the measure's not set up that if you hold down the control button, you're going to have multiple orange colors. The focus was just a single line or dealer in this case that you wanted to see in this mess of lines. So I just wanted to point that out, a single select for that. Now on to the horizontal bar graph for the bar chart, she had where your top two were highlighted in blue, the rest were gray, and then you see the regional average as black, and then your bottom, the ones that are bad performers, didn't sell as many cars, they're in that same color orange. So just she had in her book where you had the bar graph next to the line chart. So I set it up that way. So this one that I'll show you, the data that was selected was just the car dealer and sum of cars. And that was really it. I have a date a slicer here. So we can click, and so this just updates that. Like I said, very simple, just kind of give you some ideas to play with. Um, you might think of something and say, oh, wow, I could use this, or I came across this and didn't know, how to go about doing it. So, like I said, this exercise is just for that. Um, so this, and remember when you have selections of visuals, and then you have a line graph and a bar chart, always go in. What I did is edit the interactions because I don't want my dates when I select, I just want it to affect the bar graph and not my line chart, or not mess with, I didn't want this or this associated with any of this, and vice versa. So if I click on this, I didn't want Beacon and all my car dealers to affect any of these visuals in this exercise only. So that's the only way I set that up. So make sure you go back and you uncheck that so you don't accidentally turn off a filter or turn on a filter that you didn't mean to. So nothing special here. And you'll see as I'm clicking the dates, this text is changing as well. And this is great in her books. In any data visualization reporting that you do, you want the end user to have a easy time knowing what the data is telling them. And if you could give them a summary and highlight it, so I mean, this stands out. You can see that the top, one or two being highlighted, and the bottom three, in orange. Um, so how did I do that? Well, first we'll do the bar graph, which really, if you just go to format, um, I'll come up with the table later, but we'll hit the graphs. And really, here again, I've got lakeside, blue, regional average, black, and then the bottom two orange. That came in as a function with the default. I didn't set those colors. I set the colors in here. All I did was create a rule based on the sum of cars that is in my fact table. And I just set some values, just knowing the data. Hey, anything greater than 95, less than 150 cars sold, I want blue. Greater than 0, but less than 30, I want orange. And then everything in between 31 and 95, that in between, I just want gray. And that's really it. It's just nothing fancy, no fancy measures, complex DAX coding. Just do a simple format for this example. Just formatting your colors. So I did create a measure uh, for my title, and for the title, let me back up. So I have a title and a subtitle, and this I hard typed in. I just hard what we would say hard code. Yeah, so I just typed that in myself as a subtitle. Now the title, I have a measure, field value measure, title display, and I'll show you that. So the title display, and it's so great when you do a video, you guys, if I'm from back east, so I know I probably talk way fast. I've tried to slow down, but with videos, you can always pause, rewind, uh, replay, and see what I had said. Um, so that's always a good thing. I'm always worried that, oh, you're talking too fast, slow down. But anyway, so the title display, it's just really, some quotes. Car sales by dealership. You do the ampersand sign, format. Again, selected value. Um, and the selected value is the date. And then I just wanted it as the short date format. So, and that's what this is in. So when I see that 2018 Q2, that changes 2018 Q2. Again, the person that's looking at this, even though he or she knows that they selected that, they see it also in the title. Again, your end user, keep them in mind. So the next and last of this exercise that I've done is a summary, and she had it in there, and I think her visualizations she might do in Excel. So all this it's static on her in the book where it's just it's static. I mean, like I said, it doesn't change. There's no interaction. With Power BI and DAX, you can of course make this um, dynamic and have it change. And Brian had commented on one of my posts um, why I chose this visual type compared to just using Smart Narrative. I personally, Smart Narrative is great, and you let it, what it did here, it just said Beacon and Total Draper are negatively correlated with each other. Okay, great. Um, that doesn't tell me a whole lot of information. You can go in here and values. Me, just a personal preference. I don't want to constantly go in and change and then, double click, make sure I highlighted the right thing, everything's in order. Uh, to me, a few steps is better. I'm an engineer, so the fewer steps, the fewer clicks I have to do, uh, the better, the easier. So that's my personal preference. Somebody might be an expert on smart narrative. That's great. If that works for you, keep it up. But what I chose was a visual from the App Store called Enlighten uh, Data Story. And to me, it's real easy, a little bit more flexible to use. And I'll show you. So when you um, and I have this grouped, so I could just move the whole thing. So I have this title, and this is just a text box. But this measure that I'll show you, but let me do it. Um, so with with this, you type in what you want to say, of course, and then what is in blue. I've tried to correlate that blue with the blue in the bar graph, the orange for the lower ones, least number sold, with the orange in the bar graph down here. So these are two separate measures. So the dealers with the max cars, and I went through a few different versions, so that's why it says V4, until I found what really worked. And so this measure is just a concatenate X function, and then I use the top N, and I want the top two. You could change this to 3, 4. I will tell you, after going through this measure, if you change this to 3, you'll see Lakeside, Draper, and what's the next one here? Fillmore. So it'll add on. I'm just following the example in the book. She just had the top two and the bottom two. So that's just what I stuck with. So you have select a dealer table, and then it'll ask you the logic with this. It'll ask you the measure. So it's sum of cars, and then descending order. So you want it from the max to the min. Um, so walking through here, you got select a car dealer, ampersand with, in quotes and some space, and then sum of cars. So that's where you see the 105 and the 103. And the and is right there in the center. So, and you want the next one, sheet one, your fact table, sum of cars, descending as well. So this measure gives you the max of the two dealers that sold the most cars. Um, the color in orange is, what do you think? Same, just copy paste, same measure, call it min, but you're going from ascending order for the bottom, but then descending order. And that gets you, it, and I'll back up a minute because now I just, you go through all this and then you remember why you did what you did. And that's why it's on version 4. So if you have ascending and ascending in these two spots, I wanted the car dealer in this order: Pierce and Mare Valley. If I When I did this and I had ascending order down here, I had Mare Valley and Pierce backwards, 22 and 26. I wanted the 26 first because it's here, and then the 22 after. Same thing with the 105 and the 103. It automatically wanted to put the um, the car dealers in alphabetical order. So D was first, and then Lakeside, and then Mare Valley was first, and then Pierce. I didn't want that. I wanted the other way around: Lakeside, Draper, Pierce, Mare Valley, and that's how you do it. It's in this ascending and descending. So ascending, you get the first one, and then descending, you're working from the top down. So that gives you Mare Valley. Like I said, it was just trial and error. I played with it. I thought, okay, I'm not getting what I wanted. Finally, that's how I came up with that, and I got these in the order that I want. I didn't want the names again alphabetically. I wanted it numerically from largest to the smallest. And then same thing here, largest to the smallest. Because like I said, if you didn't do it that way, Draper would be first on Lakeside. It didn't make sense. So um, let me think if there's anything else to show. Um, no, that was a trial and error also. Um, So that's really it. Dealer with max number of cars, dealer with min cars. That's what I tried first, but then this is what I came up with was the version 4, the min and the max, and it's just copy paste. Pretty simple. Same thing once again down here with Draper, Fillmore. I'm just changing the names. It really took maybe 5 minutes to just knock that out. Might be an easier way, but like I said, for this demonstration, um, I think maybe doing all this for me, since I was familiar with the line chart measures and what I needed to do, um, maybe 45 minutes, 30 minutes max in between phone calls or whatnot. So Anyway, um, that was it on this exercise. Like I said, I appreciate it very much that you guys took the time, watched this video. Again, you know what to do down below is like and subscribe if you haven't already. That helps. I appreciate it, guys, so much. Thanks again. And until next time, we'll talk soon. Bye.